Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. And we're here today with an update about the goings-on at UND, and I'm joined by Peter Johnson from our UND Alumni Association and Foundation, and he works as the Director of Government Relations and Public Affairs for the Foundation. Peter, we're happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me, appreciate that.
And as we go into the legislative session, do you care to admit how many of these sessions you've actually been through?
Absolutely. My first session as a professional was back in 1983. I was a reporter at the Devil's Lake Daily Journal, and I've participated in some way, shape, or form professionally ever since then. So this is my 21st session, 40 years.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah, and you've seen leaders come and go, and we have new leadership within both the House and Senate this year. Any insights into what we're going to see through new leadership?
We have a lot of new leaders. So what that means is we lost a lot of leadership, folks that have been there for a long time. But the good news is the folks that came in are seasoned veterans in both the Senate and the House, and there are a few folks who have continued on. So there is some continuity. So I think right now things are in pretty good shape. Nice.
And through your time and observations of the sessions, you've seen a lot of, I don't know what to call them, secrets to success. So what do you think? What do you think the keys are for as UND and others present their cases? What are those keys to success?
I think the major key is that we have a citizen legislature. These are people who come from all walks of life, and so you relate to them just like you would anybody else. They want to have relationships. They want to get to know folks. They want to know what's on their mind. So to have that kind of relationship and establish that, that's really the key to success. To be polite, to be honest, to be forthcoming, but really to get to know people in that kind of a way.
Yeah, and I know as we go into the session, there'll certainly be themes that arise for UND and for the North Dakota University system. What themes are you seeing, and what do you think is going to happen over the course of the session with these themes?
So one of the themes is the amount of money that's available. And connected to that are the kinds of things that the legislature might do with those kinds of money. So inflation is one of the things I've been hearing about a lot from not only the higher education sector, but other sectors. We've all been hit first by COVID, then the following inflation that's hit all kinds of entities. So they're hearing about inflation. They're talking about what to do with salaries for state employees. They're talking about defined benefits. There's conversations about income tax and those kinds of things, but a lot of things that I'm paying the most attention to swirl around the dollars.
Mm-hmm. Nice. It'll be fun to see this whole process and the whole session unfold. And I know that we'll certainly have some faculty members and staff members who are either asked or choose to participate in the legislative session. It could be conversations in the neighborhood with local legislators. It could be going to Bismarck to testify. Do you have any advice for the folks who might be in that situation?
Well, sort of along what I just said. Be kind, be open, be honest, represent what you're representing. So if you're speaking on behalf of the university, if you've got that sort of authority, you should do that. But if you're not, if you're speaking for yourself, you need to declare that. Just yesterday, I spoke in front of a committee, and I did that as a citizen. I made that very clear. So you always have that opportunity. Legislators really want to know what the perspective is that you're coming from. If you're doing those kinds of things and you're doing them as a private citizen, you've got to make sure you don't use university resources, which is sometimes hard to keep in mind. We're so used to using our email, our computers, those kinds of things. Got to use your personal stuff.
Yeah, and we would never ever trample on people's individual rights to free speech.
That's right.
Of course, right?
Absolutely, and legislators want to hear from the citizens. It's a citizen legislature. They want to hear from their fellow citizens.
Right, and one of the great things about our legislative session, it's when you think of the adage, government by the people and for the people, this is where it's at. The close personal relationship you can form with your legislators and the impact that our citizens can have on the crafting of policy. It's pretty exciting.
I don't think there's any other state in which you've got this kind of access to folks. All these legislators, none of these legislators have staff. There's a group, Legislative Council helps them out, but we're so used to thinking on television and in the movies, well, my staff is going to handle that. Not in North Dakota, so they depend on the kindness of strangers to help them with things. And they look forward to that.
Yeah, kind of a built-in humility, right, when they have to do much of the work themselves. Well, we'll see how the legislative session unfolds. We will pledge to do our very best to keep the campus informed about how we progress on certain bills, bills of interest to higher ed and to the University of North Dakota. And so until next time, Peter, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all later.